headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that mattered to me.
You know, he's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out, and the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
All-time great heavyweights, all right? And it shouldn't be. But he's sparring the heavyweight, the level of heavyweight that, you know, had more experience than Jake Paul, right? But Jake Paul has beaten those heavyweights himself, all right?
Gervonta Tank Davis didn't hold back when he sat down with Joe Rogan. The atmosphere on the podcast quickly shifted from casual talk to pure tension as Davis sent a chilling warning to Jake Paul. His words carried the kind of conviction only a fighter with something to prove could deliver. Davis made it crystal clear that he's not treating this fight as a publicity stunt or a circus act. For him, it's personal. With Rogan leaning in, trying to peel back the layers, Davis said in a low, confident tone, "This ain't entertainment no more. This is personal." The room fell silent for a moment. You could feel the seriousness in his voice. Davis wasn't there to sell pay-per-views, he was there to make a statement.
And now it's just like, I don't know, probably this was a good thing, us fighting. Because you have someone that, we come from two different sides, like, of the world. We still on the same path to get the same thing. You know, I gotta be in there with him, I gotta be able to, you know, his arm reach, his size, his power, the way he moving and things like that. I just gotta adapt as I fight him. I think it's gonna be a great event. Every time I fight is fireworks. Boxing wins come November the 14th. We just giving boxing what it needs, and that's excitement.
For Davis, this match represents something far greater than just another paycheck or another opponent. After his controversial draw in March 2025 with Lamont Roach Jr., the first time in his career he didn't walk away victorious, critics began to whisper. Some questioned if his dominance was fading, if the once unstoppable Tank had lost some of his fire. This fight with Jake Paul, in Davis's eyes, is redemption. A public reminder that greatness doesn't fade overnight. Even though this event isn't sanctioned as a traditional professional bout, Davis sees it as the perfect stage to remind the world who he is, one of boxing's true elite. For him, this fight is about legacy, pride, and silencing every doubter once and for all.
Happy with Tank. First off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What does it? For entertainment purposes only, right? It should say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, sometimes.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know. So, you know, it's money-making purposes only, you know.
Jake Paul, for his part, has admitted that facing Davis will be the toughest test of his career so far. Despite his advantages in size, height, and reach, Jake has never faced a fighter of Tank's caliber. He acknowledged that Gervonta Davis is a legitimate top 10 pound-for-pound fighter, someone whose explosiveness, precision, and fight IQ command respect. "This fight," Jake said, "is forcing me to lock in like never before." He understands that Davis isn't just another celebrity opponent. To stand a chance, Jake knows he'll have to be sharper, smarter, and mentally stronger than ever. It's not just about what Jake can bring, it's about whether he can survive what Tank brings to the ring.
Do a fight that I've actually ever been, because I know how good these people are that I'm sparring, and being able to see how good they are and knowing how good Tank is, it's actually going to be my toughest test to date.
Yeah, I think, Jake, you could make the argument, right? Pound for pound wise, this guy's the most ferocious dude in the whole sport, couldn't you?
For sure. I think he has probably one of the highest knockout percentages in
90-something percent, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And just his speed, his elusiveness, his ring IQ, his conditioning. You know, he's gone 12 rounds so many different times, something that I've never even done. So he's going to be sharp all the way through. I mean, the list goes on. And so just actually being vulnerable for a second, it's like, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night.
Jake, how do you prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you? How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, you know, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis. How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, you know, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed. And not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are...
Jake Paul's meteoric rise in boxing has been fueled by marketing genius and spectacle. But stepping in with Gervonta Davis marks an entirely new level of challenge. This isn't an influencer bout, this is boxing reality knocking at the door. A victory over Tank, even in an exhibition, would redefine Jake Paul's status in the sport. It would force people to see him as more than a YouTuber with gloves. And the stakes couldn't be higher. The $50 million purse Jake mentioned on air only adds more gravity. This isn't just about pride, it's a battle where fame, legacy, and fortune collide.
We're getting Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, you know, we were looking at that fight for February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I know that I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then. But I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round. I don't know what it is, but you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers.
In a move that shocked the boxing community, Jake Paul has brought Shakur Stevenson into his camp. Stevenson, known for his defensive brilliance and pure technical mastery, is a 3-division world champion, one of the most intelligent fighters of his generation. His addition to Jake's camp instantly changed the narrative. It signaled that Jake wasn't relying on showmanship or brute strength this time. Under Stevenson's mentorship, Jake's training now focuses on speed, timing, and ring IQ. Insiders say the sparring sessions between Jake and Shakur have been intense, a laboratory of skill, where Paul is learning how to think like a boxer, not just punch like one.
Sparring, you know, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick.
Training leaks from both sides paint an intriguing picture. Davis's coach expressed concern over the fight setup, particularly the use of 12-ounce gloves, which are heavier than standard competition gloves. He pointed out the weight difference between the two fighters and argued that the format seemed designed to protect Jake. But despite those concerns, Team Davis agreed to move forward. 10 rounds, 3 minutes each, under exhibition rules, 12-ounce gloves for both men. The message from Davis's camp is simple: no excuses, no complaints. Tank will fight under any conditions and still prove why skill outweighs size.
Paul versus Tank fight is getting really weird.
Gervonta looks scared for his life because the rules are out. They're crazy. Oh, so everyone thought that the fight was at 190. Instead it's at 195, and this weight difference is scaring the life out of Little Tank.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said 190.
The next dispute comes with the gloves. Little Tank is used to fighting in 8-ounce gloves. Baby glove. This fight will be in 12. Hands might be too small. Also, Tank just fought in a 12 3-minute round fight against Roach.
Yes, and now he's fighting in 10 3-minute rounds, which isn't too bad. Well done, Jake.
Exhibition though, can he win?
Yes, he can actually win. It will be overlooked by 3 sanctioned judges.
So he can actually still win and knock him out.
But here's the trick. It's body punches only.
And there's a reason. That's because Tank said, look, this is a bit unfair. I don't want to punch up. I want to punch at my head height. Where does it fall?
At Jake Paul's belly.
Oof.
So apparently we've heard there's no knockdown rules, but aside from that, it's a pretty well-rounded fight. Oh yeah, and there's some drug testing involved.
But Jake Paul for the win.
My only concern is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mixed match. It's supposed to be an expedition. What? You know, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these restrictions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank don't really care, you know? So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you know, he can weigh the 10s and we weigh the 8s. Then we...
Even though it's labeled an exhibition, the promotion is treating this bout like a world title event. Netflix has officially secured streaming rights, turning this fight into one of the biggest entertainment spectacles of the year. The marketing machine is in full swing, from cinematic trailers to a viral Grand Theft Auto-themed poster that instantly dominated social media. The undercard is stacked with real championship fights, adding even more legitimacy to the event. Make no mistake, this might be called an exhibition, but every move screams main event.
With fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering, why has Tank taken this fight? And those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser. Because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. As Tank, well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges that the people actually want to see, unless he has ever.
For Davis, this is a mission, a chance to expose Jake Paul's resume, which many see as padded with cherry-picked opponents. He wants to remind the world what real boxing looks like, the skill, the timing, the art. For Jake Paul, however, it's his biggest payday and perhaps his biggest opportunity. The $50 million purse makes this not only a historic financial event but also a potential career-defining moment. 2 men, 2 worlds, 1 night where entertainment meets authenticity.
I'm gonna ask, what are you making for the fight?
Weird pocket watching.
A little bit here.
Like, what do you think?
50 to 100 mil.
You're closer on the first number.
That's still crazy to me.
People are saying, people are like 200, it's just like, nah. Boxing's not like that anymore.
Former champion Sean Porter offered an honest take on Jake Paul's rise. Most boxers who fight Jake, he said, do it for the money, not respect. The business side of Jake's career is undeniable. He pays well, markets better, and understands how to turn fights into viral events. But in Porter's eyes, that respect from within the boxing community, the kind that comes from beating true champions, still eludes Jake. This fight, then, is about validation. For Jake, it's the pursuit of recognition. For Tank, it's a statement that skill, legacy, and hard-earned respect will always outweigh social media fame.
I like when it's all said and done and when you guys go off, they going to the next man. So if y'all can make a big payday, go get that payday. The sport of boxing don't love you. That's the problem with this sport. It's like what Jake Paul did, man, it's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby. I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays, you know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence, you know? They're trying to make it safer and, you know, all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel, man, boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, like I don't know the official, they're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100.
Critics aside, there's no denying the buzz. Even casual fans who drifted away from boxing are tuning back in for this one. The chaos, the unpredictability, that's what makes this fight magnetic. Jake Paul brings drama, Gervonta Davis brings destruction. Together, they represent two sides of modern boxing, spectacle and substance colliding head-on. Fans might not all care who wins, but everyone agrees on one thing: this fight will be explosive.
It's not a victory, unless he's landing the right. Jab, grab, breathe. Meanwhile, Tank's downloading, collecting timestamps. Ever see a big guy wrestle? Yeah, those first few minutes looks like a forklift, but by minute 5, forklift needs a nap. Can a forklift catch a fly? Only if the fly gets lazy. Jake's body will be open, especially after mid-fight when hands start sinking. And when the guard starts to wither away, so will the chin. Body shots don't ask permission, they collect rent. Liver! You don't need to be a heavyweight to fool the man who's exhaling. A small, sharp guy versus a taller frame, seen it 100 times. You touch torso early, you tag shoulders late. The high guard.
Commentator Wade Plemons described Jake Paul as a master manipulator of narrative, a fighter who wages psychological warfare long before the first bell. He controls the story, the energy, and the headlines. Wade explained that Jake's real strategy is mental, setting traps, forcing opponents into his world of attention and hype. He offered Davis the perfect bait: money, fame, and a global spotlight too bright to refuse. Whether intentional or not, Jake has already won one battle. He's made the world talk about his fight.
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul, if he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged.
The boxing community is deeply divided. Traditionalists call this matchup a mockery and exhibition that favors entertainment over integrity. But supporters argue that it's exactly what boxing needs: fresh energy, new audiences, and a shot of relevance in an era where attention spans are short. Gervonta Davis's camp sees the fight as a way to highlight the difference between real boxing and viral performance. Jake's supporters see him as a revolutionary, breaking down walls between pop culture and sport. It's a generational clash, the old guard defending purity, and the new guard chasing reinvention.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. Would you say number 2, not fighting Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean. That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean. You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean. You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game, but you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean. But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors. All right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said
retirement.
The retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing. They around. They around. It's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Darkskin boy, that's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right?
The outcome could shape boxing's future. If Jake Paul wins, the floodgates open for influencer versus pro events to dominate headlines, where star power outweighs rankings. If Davis wins decisively, it restores balance, reaffirming that true boxing is built on skill, experience, and discipline, not algorithms and clout. This fight isn't just 2 men trading punches. It's a mirror reflecting what modern boxing has become and where it's heading next.
The algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy, thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sent me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is, let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager.
So who do you have winning? The relentless Tank Davis or the unpredictable Jake Paul? One fights for legacy. The other fights to redefine the sport. Either way, this isn't just another boxing match, it's a moment that could rewrite the rules of combat entertainment forever. Drop your prediction below.